Welcome to another stage analysis video. It's Sunday the 21st of April 2024. Lots to get through as always on the weekend video. I'm going to start off with some of the weekend's watchlist stocks. Actually the entire of last weekend's watchlist was dominated by the short ETFs, but after this week's pull down in the markets, starting to get to a point where there's potential we might see some sort of short-term bounce. So back to some of the long ideas again this weekend to see what's looking interesting at the moment, with the strength in the market still in the materials, with especially the precious metals and the base metals. We've got SILV here from the precious metals and miners sub-industry. So silver stock at the moment, it's only a small sub-industry for the precious metals and miners. So at the moment, if you look at it compared to the materials overall, it's in second place overall in terms of the materials sector here on what we call a stage analysis technical attribute score of a 10, i.e. it's got 10 of the typical characteristics that we find in a stage 2 stock. So at its maximum score at the moment, it's definitely in stage 2 here. See breaking out and pushing higher to new 52-week highs at the moment, outside of all of this overhead resistance. Silver in the short term had a little bit of a short-term top recently and has been consolidating over the last week or so. We saw some strong pullbacks in the silver stocks, especially over the last week. SILV showing some relative strength and pushing out above its mansfield relative strength zero line here. So at the moment, sub-industry at 67% above on a strong stage analysis technical attribute score, and the sector overall on 59%. So materials and energy both at the moment in sort of a tie at the top, as well as utilities pushing back in there as well. If you look at the daily chart of this, you can see making a continuation breakout. So it is a little bit extended in the short term here, and with the silver stocks have been a bit extended, but the pullback over the last week or so has helped flush that a little bit. But Thursday and Friday in SILV, you can see pushing back up above the plus 2 ATR level here, so still well above its short-term moving averages, and as I said, closing at new 52-week highs here. Another one of interest from the gold group this time is AGI. So if you click into the sub-industry here, gold, you can see at the moment this is 7th in the gold group at the moment in terms of its stage analysis technical attribute score and relative strength combined. So I find that's the best way to place them at the moment. I am going to be developing a composite score that considers the group strength as well as shorter term characteristics as well, so to make a more general score so we can rank stocks against each other. But at the moment I find this is a good quick way to do it. So 7th in the gold group at the moment, so you can see you could go into any of these other stocks to see how they're doing. HMY still the leader in the group at the moment. You can see still pushing up towards new 52-week highs again there. So 81% of the gold mining stocks here on what we call a stage analysis technical attribute score of 6 or greater, i.e. they've got at least 6 of the characteristics of a typical stage 2. So AGI here on a 9 at the moment, so second strongest score. You can see been a 6 or above for about 6 or 7 weeks now, and ran to relative strength back above the zero line again. We look at the daily chart on this one. Back into here, you can see had a little bit of a short-term top here recently. The pullback, the rebound has only come back into around halfway of the pullback at the moment, so it has got earnings this week low, so waiting to see what happens with those, but still hovering around the previous highs. But as I said, the group as a whole continues to be a leader. So there's been a lot of talk of leading stocks and what they're doing at the moment, but the leading stocks at the moment are really the precious metals particularly. So they're the ones to keep an eye on to see if this strength is going to hold or not, in my opinion. If we look through to the CCJ as well, this is another interesting one in the short term, technically in stage 3 at the moment. So you can see we had a buying climax, almost reaction, and now a secondary test. So you can see we start to draw a structure across here, currently developing a stage 3 base structure at the moment. You see a little bit of a inverse head and shoulders pattern on this one, so could potentially still make a and further stage 2 continuation, which if it does, would start to pull the rest of the uranium stocks above with it. But I thought this is a good example as well in terms of the technical characteristics that you find in stage 3 at near the highs still have a lot of the stage 2 characteristics, i.e. we've got a score of 8 at the moment. We've had a score of 8 for the last 3 weeks. So that means we've got 8 of the characteristics that you find in stage 2, but it's in stage 3. So you can see how that works there in terms of when it's strong in stage 3, you're still going to have a lot of strong characteristics of stage 2, and that's why people find it so difficult to automate the stages, and why I think the stage analysis technical attributes is a much more controlled way of doing it in terms of because a lot of actually all of the automated tools get the transitions and the stage 1 and stage 3 wrong. So I think the stage analysis technical attributes was why I did it using a scoring system instead, because it's too difficult to get it right, as there's too many variables when the stock is in stage 3 and stage 1 compared to when it's in stage 2 and stage 4. Stage 2 and stage 4 are very easy to get right, but it's the transitions and what happens during stage 1 and stage 3 is you get strong parts of stage 3 where it's got strong technical attributes and weak parts where it's got hardly any. So, but both, it's still in stage 3, it's not in 2 or 4. So I think if we go back to the daily on this one, you'll see that pattern a little bit better. So a little bit of a double bottom here recently, so you can see the break back up again, a bit of a Wyckoff spring type move, coming back up through, strong move back through, back above the +1 ATR level again. Earnings coming up on this one on the 30th. So you can look at this as a cup and handle, inverse head and shoulders, whatever kind of pattern you're thinking here. But if it starts to break back below the 46 level here, then that would be a sign of weakness. So at the moment, looking for it to continue to hold in here until earnings, and then potentially may make a stage 2 continuation. But if it does break back to the downside, then that would be the potential short-term end for this one. We could start to develop towards stage 4, which at the moment would be a breakdown through this kind of area, but could develop a higher stage 4 breakdown level in the future. It's the 200-day moving averages here. So if it did start to break down, made a pivot at a higher level through here, then that could potentially become the breakdown level. But at the moment, stage 2 breakdown level is around the 39 level at the moment.